What is going on, everybody? Here you have my 2019 Fat Bob, and I just want to do a little walk around and show you guys my bike and everything that I've done to it, and I'll be able to break it down for you guys. Let's do a little quick walk around here. And first off, I have this bike. It has 2,300 miles on it right now, and I love this bike, and I specifically just love how I have it all set up. So I'm going to try to remember everything I did with it. This is a 2019 Fat Bob. It was originally the 114, so the S model, but I since have put in a 117 kit, the stage 3 one, and I know there's some debate on which one's better, the stage 3 or stage 4. I opted with the 3 just because I heard the torque numbers were better, and that's what I wanted, so I ended up doing that upgrade. So I have the Memphis Shades Road Warrior with the 9-inch visor piece here. It works, and it gives it a nice look. So I know it's pretty popular. You'll see a lot of these parts that I picked are pretty popular parts, so I'm not inventing the wheel here, but it's the way I like it. There's a reason why things are popular sometimes. They just work, or they're pretty cool. Staying in the front here, we have the Custom Dynamics headlights in the front and the brake lights in the back. I got these from was it Lucky Speed? I think it's one of those. Lucky Speed shop. Actually, yes, it's Lucky Speed shop. Sorry about that. I got these grips here, and it has a little finger groove. I guess this is called the trigger grip, but they're shorty levers, and they're awesome. Just love it. And they're on both sides there. You can see the little grip. It takes you like 5 minutes to install most of this stuff. We got brass ball cycles. It's very hard to find red pieces for this bike, so I wanted to accent it in red, but I was able to find these grips there for that. You have Bun King, crash bar, or whatever you want to call it, and then the pieces in the back as well. This is DK Customs. This is the 606 kit, and it does have the breather system, which I chose to install it this way. So it vents the hot oil, that it stops it from going into the bike, and it vents it out. So I ran the lines down, connected it. You're probably not gonna be able to see it, I have you on a helmet mount right now. Connected it down there and then ran it to the back with the catch cans back there. We got two brothers, 2-in-1 exhaust here. Got the red wires from Harley Davidson. We have Biltwell 8-inch risers. These are the straight ones, and this is the Harley Davidson Moto bar. So I wanted something that was 28 inches wide. I didn't want the really wide ones. A lot of the other ones come like 29 or 32, but I wanted something narrow. So Harley Davidson did a good job with that. But you have to go with the one that's a 1-inch if you're going to use these risers. And surprisingly, a lot of dealerships somehow don't know that, because the one that's made for the Fat Bob is thicker, and it won't work with aftermarket risers. So you have to go for the FXDR one is a 1-inch bar, which will work with these risers. And I'm kind of disappointed that the parts people, I won't throw out their name, what dealership it was, but I actually had to call like 3 or 4 other dealerships, and a lot of them didn't know. So sorry. Shout out to California though. When I called down couple of places in California, there was one that was able to answer that and get me the right part that'll fit on my bike. I don't know why it was difficult, but it was. Got the rock form mount, and actually it's a good mount. I have the perch mount part to it. I like it. It's good. It is. I would have liked to see like a steel part here instead of this plastic that holds on to the this connector here. I'm having brain farts. Sorry guys. Moving along, got the Saddleman seat. This is LS stitching. This is the step-up seat. I mean, probably there's like a billion reviews on this thing. It's awesome. It's got the gripper back, and I enjoy it. I like the way it looks, and you know, you can get these custom made. Shout out to those guys. They're doing good work. Other than that, like I said, it does have the stage 3 on there. Then this is the most important mod of all. If you want to get 50 more horsepower, you add in the derby cover. You add that in, you get at least 50 horsepower. If you want 60, you got to get a sticker. So no, but other than that, the bike is stock. I mean, whatever's left, I guess. But it does. It is phenomenal. I really do love this bike, and I'm very happy with it. It is expensive. I mean, anytime you're gonna go with Harley Davidson, it's gonna cost you an arm and a leg. So, yeah, I do really enjoy it. Really like it. I like the way it performs. The only thing I would do different. Oh, sorry, I almost forgot about this. I got this sissy bar. It's aftermarket. There's a guy on eBay. Not sure the name off the top. But if you type in Fat Bob sissy bar, he's like the only one that comes up at this point. Other than that, everything else is stock. So the only thing I would change is I would have picked these are the Biltwell Murdochs 8-inch risers. I would have picked the one with the pullback, so it would have brought it closer to me. I went with the straight one because I thought that it would work, and it does work, but you are a little bit lean forward, a little bit more than I would have liked. But like anything else, you get used to it, and it's still comfortable. It's still a comfortable ride, but going back in time, I probably would have swapped this out for one, and I can probably do that later. If you have the ABS model, you don't need to change out your wires. You can just use the stock wires up to, I think, about 7 inches, because I went ahead and did my own. I bought aftermarket before I did the whole swap here. I bought an aftermarket riser that was a 2.5 inch riser on top of the stock unit, which worked for the time. But you know, going to this right here, you're gonna then need to change out your wiring and stuff. So is it worth it for you? I think it was around, these things are like $200, and then the handlebars like $169. So total, I think you're looking at around $700 or so for installation and everything. Other than that, well, let's take it for a ride. Let's see how she sounds. It does idle clunky. It is a clunky idle. Before I started up, the biggest reason why I wanted, aside from like the comfort aspect, is these mirrors are probably the worst mirrors ever on the stock unit, because the handlebars sit like way down here, and yeah, all you get is like shoulder and then maybe something over that in a corner, but that's it. So with the bars going up higher, you can see a little bit better behind you. So this is more functional. These are still the stock units mirrors, but it's a lot more functional. So do appreciate that. I know a lot of guys flip these and put them underneath, and they're hitting their tank. I don't see a purpose for that. I did try it to see if it'll hit my tank as well, and it does on the stock unit. And I tried it for this one as well, but it takes my eyes off the road too much to look that far down to see behind me, so it's just not functional. So I just switched them back. Let's start it up. I'm not sure how good the sound's gonna come out for you guys, but this is what I think about when I think Harley Davidson. Oh, sorry, we have Arlen Ness. I forgot that part. Arlen Ness piece right there. So yeah, I'm super technical with all my terms. That's Arlen Ness piece. But you know, I'm just a regular guy. I'm not a moto vlogger or anything, and I'm not trying to be. I just wanted to show you guys my bike, man. I've been looking at a ton of videos, Fat Bob, even before I bought this thing. And you know, if somebody's, you know, thinking, hey, what can I do with it, or, you know, should I get the bike? Like I said, this was a 114. So that year, 2019 was the last year they started making. They were making them 107s and 114s, and then you know, now 2020 and so on, they're only doing 114s. But I ended up buying this one as a 114 because it's America. Like, why not, right? Why wouldn't you get a 114 if you have the option? So literally after I bought this bike, they came out with the Lowrider S, which is great, and you'll be able to hear this thing idle. It does idle lumpy, but man, does it pull, man. It really does rip. The dyno numbers that they gave me was 118 foot-pounds of torque to the wheel and the same horsepower. So I don't take too much stock in dyno numbers because I get it. Like, it can change depending on the dyno, depending on the day, depending on like a billion factors. So take it with a grain of salt. Who cares about dyno numbers? It's about how it rides, and then if you like it, if you like your bike, because guess what? You're the one riding it. Does it rip? That's what matters. Does it rip? Anyway, back to normal. So this bike was originally a 114, and I was very happy with it, but you know, I wanted a little bit more, so that's what I did. I ended up saying, go ahead, put the 117 kit in there on a brand new bike. Why not? And I'm not regretting it at all, honestly. I am enjoying it. It rides awesome, and man, you just pull that throttle, man, and I don't know what it is about it, why there's such a difference. I mean, yes, I know the components that go into it, but really, a 114 to a 117, you would think, what's the difference? Maybe it's the cam. I mean, I don't know. Or the tune. I mean, I got it tuned by the normal Harley Davidson, the Pro Street tuner. So, I mean, I don't know. All I know is how it rides. It's significantly better. Before this, I did get the Stage 1, which is the Two Brothers exhaust and a tune, because this already had the high flow air cleaner. So I ended up getting the DK Customs breather and their air filter system, just because I saw how dirty the engine was, because I got my engine back, the 114. I ended up getting that back. So yeah, I ended up seeing how much gunk actually goes into your engine, and it's kind of depressing. It's like, man, that is a lot. There was oil, it was like tar, it was like, basically, that's the best way to describe it. There was like tar on the engine, like the pistons and the cylinders, and it just looked like it had, you know, 40,000 miles on it or something, like what I would think of an engine looking like on the inside, having 40,000 miles. But it only had, what, 2,000 miles at that time? 2,200, if that, maybe? So yeah, so I ended up getting the breather system because I don't want the oil going back into my engine, especially now that I have a brand new engine. And yeah, I'm very happy with it. The power is great. I love it. It's just a fun bike. So if you're on the fence and you're not a bagger bro, see, I'm not a bagger bro, so I understand, you know, you want to get a real bike, you got to get a bagger. I get that from you Harley guys. That's awesome. Like, there's nothing wrong with those. I love those bikes as well. They look awesome, you know, when people set them up, and you know, it has everything you could ever want. But I'm more of a simplistic guy. I mean, with the money that I put into this thing, I could have got a road glide or whatever glide you want, which are all the real bikes. That's great, but you know, I didn't want that. I wanted something simple, something that was just meant to ride. And honestly, those bikes are also, they're 8, 9, 1,000 pounds. You know, Road Kings, like, yeah, they're great bikes, but here you have a bike that's, you know, 6 something, 700, maybe a little bit more the way I have it set up, but around 700 pounds. I mean, that's a good bit of difference, you know. So it depends on what you're using